Today we're going to install the Iron Cross HD steps on this 2019 new body style Ram crew cab. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start on the driver's side at the front. Now this is just behind the front wheel. If you come back along the rocker panel and the pinch weld, you're going to have 3 studs. Now, before you do anything here, what you're going to want to do is clean off any kind of paint residue that's on the studs. Either use an aggressive wire brush, or I actually used a tap out of a die and tap set. It's an 8mm or M8 by 1.25 thread pitch if you've got that. Next, we're going to go ahead and take our front driver's side bracket. Now, you're going to have 2 oval holes at the top. And then the part that the board mounts to is going to have 2 holes and a round hole. Those are going to slide right over top of these 2 studs here. Next, we're going to put a flat washer, lock washer, and nut in place. Now, in your kit, you've got 2 different types of nut. This is just a regular flange nut. It is not a serrated flange nut. If you got a serrated flange nut, you're using the wrong nut here. The serrated flange nut will actually be used to attach the board to the bracket. This attaches the bracket to the truck. This is actually a different thread than what you're going to use to attach the board to the bracket. All right, once we get those in place, we're going to get it nice and lined up, make sure it's straight up and down, and go ahead and tighten that down with a 13mm. All right, next we're going to come back to our second set of 3 studs, and again we're just going to use 2 of them. We're going to find our center bracket. Now this is going to have a large angle cut off the side. Everything again is going to face towards the rear. We're going to slide that over top. Again, use our flat washer and lock washer along with a flange nut. Again, not serrated flange nut. And I can't stress enough, make sure that if you've got any kind of paint on those threads, that you clean those off really well. And again, get it nice and straight, and then tighten it down with a 13mm. All right, now as we move along to the rear of the vehicle, we're going to find one last set of 3 factory studs. Again, make sure those are nice and cleaned off. Take our last bracket. Now this is going to be pretty much a mirror image of our front bracket, so everything's going to face towards the front of the truck. Again, we're going to use a flat washer, lock washer, and flange nut. Get that straightened up and tightened down again with a 13mm. All right, next what we're going to do is we're going to find our clamp brackets. Those basically are designed to line up to the bracket here. What we've got is a square hole that's in the center. We're going to have a carriage bolt that goes through that square hole, and that square hole is going to seat the base of the carriage bolt in there. I'm going to slide that in place, take one of our serrated flange nuts, and then just kind of get it started on that carriage bolt. Once it's started, pull the carriage bolt out and turn it to the side. Do that on all 3 of the brackets. All right, next what we're going to do is take our board and line it up to the brackets. Once it's in line with the brackets, we can take our clamp brackets and straighten them out, and then tighten down the serrated flange nut and draw those together. All right, now with them hand tight, we're going to slide it to get it nice and centered on the cab of the truck. This particular one on the Ram, I'm going to slide forward to where it's just shy of touching the black plastic in the front. All right, now that I've got that in position, I'm going to go ahead and tighten up the center bracket. I also want to make sure that on the center bracket location, it's kind of lifted up a little bit and get it nice and high and tight to the cab of the truck. Now going up to the front, I'm going to lift up on the board and also tighten down the front bracket location, also with a 1/2 inch ratchet. And again at the rear, I'm going to do the exact same thing. Lift up on the board and tighten this down with a 1/2 inch. We're repeat the exact same process on the opposite side. Well, that concludes the installation. If you have any questions, call the experts or visit us online.